Welcome to my February reading wrap up. I'm going to go ahead and go over all the books that I read in the month of February and give you my ratings on them. I'm really excited to go over these books with you. I know a lot of other book lovers have read these books, so I'm excited to hear your guys' opinions and what you guys thought of these books if you've read them. But I did start the month off with the Once Upon a Broken Heart series by Stephanie Garber. I really enjoyed this series. It takes place in the same world as the Caraval series. So if you guys have read Caraval, then you would understand that world, the world building that Stephanie Garber has done. These take place after Caraval, so I definitely recommend reading that series first if you want to read this series. You don't have to, but I feel like it makes a little bit more sense and then it won't spoil as much in Caraval for you. But I'll start off with the first book. Once Upon a Broken Heart follows a girl named Evangeline Fox who makes a deal with the fated Prince of Hearts, Jax, to stop the boy that she's in love with from marrying somebody else. And Jax agrees to help her in exchange for 3 kisses. And if anyone knows Jax, he's the Prince of Hearts and his kiss is deadly. So it kind of makes Evangeline a little bit nervous, but luckily he just wants 3 kisses in general and of his choosing. So he gets to choose who she kisses and why. And he kind of uses it to his advantage a little bit. But anyway, Evangeline ends up moving to the Magnificent North where she meets Prince Apollo. And it just kind of follows the story of Evangeline, Jax, and Apollo. There's a lot of curses and magic and fairy tales. And she's just trying to get her happily ever after. So I really did love this book. I give the first book about 4.5 stars. I really liked the character development. I liked how it was kind of an easy read. It was easy to follow the storyline. It was easy to know who the characters were and everything like that. So I definitely really liked that about the book. The second one in the series is The Ballad of Never After. I read this one really quickly. I read it in one day, which was really nice. I really enjoyed this one. Out of the whole series, this was my favorite of the 3. It just is continuing to follow Evangeline and Jax and them trying to solve some mysteries and bring some magic back and break some curses. So it's really fun. The tension of this enemies to lover trope is really good and I really enjoyed that. And then the third book is A Curse for True Love. And I really enjoyed this one as well. I was a little bit disappointed with the kiss between Jax and Evangeline. I feel like all 3 books led up to it and the tension before it was really good. But I do feel like it was kind of a letdown. I know that might be controversy, but I really was expecting a little bit more for how much build-up there was. But overall, I really enjoyed the series. The whole series itself, I probably give a 4.5 stars because I don't feel like they were all created equal. I really liked The Ballad of Never After, and I really liked all 3 of them in general, but overall, I give this series a 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed it, and I recommend it if you want a really easy fantasy, romance, magic kind of story. I really liked it, so I definitely recommend that. The next book I picked up was Games Untold by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is an Inheritance Games novel. It was really good. I really enjoyed the Inheritance Games, so this one I knew I was going to like right off of the bat, especially because it is just a novella of stories from multiple different characters' perspectives. So I really liked that we were able to see a little bit more of Nash and Xander Hawthorne. So we got to see a little bit more of the Hawthorne brothers. We got to see some backstory to Avery's mom, which was really cool, Avery's sister Libby, and of course Jameson and Avery. So I really did enjoy this. I really have loved the world of the Inheritance Games that Jennifer Lynn Barnes has created, so I definitely recommend this one. I gave it 5 stars. I loved how it was a quick read. All of her books that she reads, the chapters are like candy. They're short chapters, they're fast to read, and it makes reading really enjoyable and easy. So I definitely recommend Games Untold if you've read the Inheritance Games all the way through the Brothers Hawthorne. I feel like you do need to read those first because this will spoil it because they're novellas after that series is over. I also really love how this book looks. I feel like it did a really good job looking pretty and I appreciate that. But I really enjoyed Games Untold by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Sticking with Jennifer Lynn Barnes, I picked up The Naturals. I've heard a lot of good things about this series, and after I read The Inheritance Games, I really wanted to try The Naturals. So I read this one really quickly. I read it in one day, which was really nice. It follows a girl named Cassie, who has a really cool ability to be able to profile people. So the FBI approaches her to kind of work with them to solve cold cases for serial killers, and she meets a bunch of other kids her age that also have different abilities to be able to read people. So I really liked that. It was a little bit scary, but I mean, it's supposed to, it's about serial killers, but I really enjoyed it. It kept me on the edge of my seat and I could not put it down, and I read it really quickly, and I immediately started the second one right after. So I'm really excited to finish this series. I really liked the mystery aspect, and I liked the characters, the development that they had, and how every character has like a really cool backstory. So if you guys have read this, let me know, and if you guys liked it, but I really enjoyed this book as well, and I'm excited to finish the rest of the series. So those are the 5 books that I read the month of February. I'm really happy with them. I feel like I had a really good time reading them, and I'm really happy with them. I'm really excited for my March, and if any of you have any books I should add to my TBR for this year, go ahead and drop them in the comments. I'm trying to add as many books as I can. I want to set a record for myself to read as many books as I can this year. In 2025, I read 65 books, so I'm trying to read that or more books this year, so I'm really excited. This is my first long form video. I make a lot of shorts, but I'm kind of hoping to transition to do both. So I'd love if you stuck around and subscribed and liked and kept coming back if you like book content, and give me some recommendations for videos you want to see or books you'd like me to read, and I'll definitely try. But this is my February reading wrap up, and I hope you guys have a good day. Bye.